Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, Spiritual Fiesta, this was the poster which we had sent you on your WhatsApps. So it looks very colorful, isn't it? So yeah, as colorful as it is on the poster, it is very colorful in the sessions also. What is the Spiritual Fiesta? This is one of the spiritual celebrations that we are having right now because we thought that exams are approaching us in March. Yes, everyone will be in pressure for the exams, but so that we end on a very nice, on a very wonderful note, just to surcharge ourselves with the spiritual wisdom and to be level headed and cool headed, we have these three sessions to boost our spiritual strength. So the first one, as we told, today we'll have a rendezvous with Dr. Rahul Sevakula. He's an assistant professor at Howard University, and you're gonna love it, and I can guarantee you that. So he will be telling you about his life. We'll be exploring some of his turning points. He will tell you how he faced his challenges and how the spiritual practices have helped him overcome all these things. Okay, and on 27th Feb, that is Saturday, we'll be learning a very golden rule for success in life. What is that golden rule that we can apply so that we can be successful and we can perform to our fullest potential at all times? So this will be one of the most key topics that you can very well attain to before attempting your exams. That will help you a lot. And of course, tomorrow we'll also have our extempore. Now, regarding extempore, I wanted to just say something. Yeah, of course, there are issues faced by all of you that because you all are not being able to take out time for hearing the audio clips. That's all right. We understand there are a lot of engagements, but extempore is a platform where you can really develop your personality, where you can help yourself to face the fear of crowd, where you can help yourself to think on spot and increase the power of thinking. So what we have done is, because we understand its importance, we want all of you, each and every one of you, to get this opportunity to attempt, at least give one shot at extempore. So what we are doing is, we are keeping some topics which have been covered previously. That is, some topics which have been covered till now. That includes your Discover Yourself workshop, your weekly sessions, the Parivartan camp, all the topics that may have been covered, that will also be given as one of the topics. So we'll have around 10 topics from your audio clips that we had given, and 10 topics from these sessions that had been covered. Altogether, we'll have 20 topics, and out of these 20 topics, you all will have the preference to choose your own topic. So ideally, it was to be given randomly, but just to ease things, we have made it in your favor. You will be allowed to choose the topic, and when you choose it there on spot, you'll be given 1 minute to think about it, and you can speak for 2 minutes. So do attempt that. I'll tell you, I have attempted it, and the amazing reality, the amazing experience that you get, the confidence that you get within that, yes, I can also speak on spot when asked to, is really amazing. So please do not miss out, and recommend each and every one of you to please participate in extempore. So that would be on 27th Feb, Saturday. And of course, the deadline for note making also has been extended to 27th Feb. So please, if you can submit your notes, you'll increase your chances of winning the prizes. You'll increase your chances of showing us what key points can you pick up. That'd be very nice. So if you're planning for participating in note making, do not forget to submit it before that. Okay. And of course, the third event on Sunday, we'll be having a very special drama with you. We'll discuss a very key topic, that would be a special presentation with group discussion. You all will be having a group discussion. We'll be having one of the very key topics, and the drama also, you'd love it. So that would be amazing session. And to conclude, we'll have our prize distribution ceremony also tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Sorry, it will be on Sunday. So do not miss out on these three sessions of Spiritual Fiesta. You'll be surcharged with spiritual strength to face your exams, and mind you, it will be a really memorable experience. So with that, let's begin. Yeah, again, you have raised your hand, but I'll answer to your questions. Just a minute. Yeah. So everyone, now Give me a minute. So the time has finally come, and I'm very thrilled to announce that we have with us Mr. Rahul Sevakula, who has joined us now. So just a minute before sir begins his wonderful sharing, let me just brief you all about him. So I'll just share my screen to introduce sir. Yeah. So, good evening, Rahul sir. A very warm welcome to this session. Thank you so much for taking out your time and joining us live from Boston. We are very thankful to you, and I'm really, very honored to introduce you all to our young MNITians. So, Dr. Rahul Sevakula is a research faculty at Harvard Medical School. That itself says a lot about him, but still, I would like to add some of his achievements. Just a minute. So, sir is a research faculty at Harvard Medical School, Massachusetts General Hospital, and sir has received his PhD from IIT Kanpur. Sir did his BTech from NIT Warangal, and during this college days in NIT Warangal, he was also attending this Discover Yourself sessions, just like today all of you are. So few years back, he was sitting on that side of the Zoom meeting, not on Zoom meeting, was sitting on in the classrooms because there was not Zoom there. But yes, he was also amongst all of you attending this Discover Yourself. And today, sir is in Harvard. So moving ahead, he has filed 2 patent disclosures and published over 40 research papers and chapters in international job conferences. He's a reviewer for many international journals, including 10 IEEE journals and Journal of the American College of Cardiology. He has received multiple awards, including Merit Scholarship at NIT Warangal for Outstanding Teaching Assistance Award at IIT Kanpur and Young Research Award from IEEE CIS Chapter UP section and the 2019 Postdoctoral Fellowship Award from the American Heart Association. So this speaks for how much qualified a person he is in terms of his skills, in terms of his knowledge, in terms of all of his personality. But apart from this, I'll tell you, he is one of those who has attended this Discover Yourself course. And today, sir is also giving priority to his chanting. Chanting has also become one of his integral part of life. He chants around around an hour or so in a day. So today we have sir with us who will share his experiences of his life and can tell us more about this practice of chanting. So thank you so much, sir, for joining with us today. And it's over to you now, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction, Gaurav. Yeah. Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Gaurav.
Thank you so much, sir.
So good evening, friends. It's very nice to meet you all, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I've been asked to share, especially in my personal life, how spiritual life, chanting the holy name, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and associating with devotees has been very helpful to me. So first of all, it would be great if there is a way to interact with all of you. If you could turn on your videos, that would be very great. It would feel more personal interaction. Currently, I can only see Gaurav. So yeah, so speaking to you, it kind of brings back fond memories because like around 15 years back, I was in my first year of bachelor's. So 2005, I had joined bachelor's in NIT Warangal, and obviously we had nice culture. Like I was chanting even before joining the college because my parents, we had good culture at our home and we all were chanting. We used to go to the temples, but it was at NIT Warangal where I found of people of my own age group, because generally what inspires people is people of your own age group. When they practice, that is when you make friends and you get inspired to practice spiritual life. So as I mentioned, bringing fond memories back. Yeah, I can. So I'm sorry, like what I may speak may not be very organized. I'm just trying to share my experiences. What I plan to speak, 2 things I'm especially going to speak about is, or you can say 3 things. One thing is having willpower to be steady. So we often hear perseverance, so-called means to achieve, to be successful. Obviously, success is a very relative term. It depends on how you define success. But in general, every notable person, they say that to be successful, you need to persevere, and you need to persevere steadily. It's not just like one fine day I persevere and next day I don't. So I'm going to speak on steadiness. And second thing is about, so you need to be and to be not distracted. It's very easy to get distracted and very tough to be focused. So on how chanting the holy name also helps us in being focused. And these both things actually have a defining moment, and they have very significant effect in your overall productivity. And in overall, if you see achieving success, or I mean, how you can measure yourself. So first thing is, if you want to be good at something, you need to measure. It's a popular saying. If you want to improve upon something, you have to measure. So similarly, when we chant the holy name, and that is why it is recommended, we chant a fixed number of times. Similarly, if you're talking of focus time or how many hours of effort you put in your studies, you have to measure it. Question is, how do you measure it? I hope you are getting my point. So like, I remember back in my days when I had joined NIT Warangal, yeah, in my class, I was doing a bachelor's from electronics and communication. Practically more than half of the, yeah, close to 60 to 70% of the people, certainly more than 50% of the people, they had an all India rank in AIEEE. It used to be called AIEEE. It had were within all India rank of 1,000. So all were pretty smart guys. And if I compare myself to the smartness of others, I think I was not that smart, but certainly I was good. I was decent, but I wouldn't. There were certainly many people who were much smarter than me. And I very distinctly remember in first year when I had joined, all was so much competitive in studying. All wanted to be top. Everyone were toppers in their own batches, in their own schools. Everyone wanted to be topper in this school, in this way. So I remember everyone was so studious in their first year. And I remember my rank was somewhere on 11th. My rank was 11th, yeah, in a class of some 75, 76 students. Not such a great rank. Okay, it was an okay rank like that, yeah. And then comes second year. Guess what? The enthusiasm in competition dropped for most. They got involved in something else. So interestingly is my CPI was essentially, so what happened, I was essentially maintaining the same enthusiasm. I maintained the same, more or less my CPI was around 8.6. And it remained so and so. And so my rank steadily increased from 11th to maybe 9th, then 7th. And I graduated with the 5th rank. So with a department rank of 5. So I was like among the top 5 in my class. So when I look back, so if you ask people, okay, so certainly when you have a reasonably good rank, people think you're smart, you work hard, you know the concepts, right? Yeah, that is there. But the main difference what I see is it is those who are steadily persevering and those who are not. Because certainly, like all of you are in MNIT, it's a very prestigious school. You have scored very well. That's why you're there. So it means all of you are very smart. But the question is how steady you are going to be from here on. So it is often understood, like as I stay, like as I experience more of my career. One more thing, it's often like in our youth, we often think, okay, just get here and done, life is done. That is what is the common expectation. I mean, like somehow get into IIT, somehow get into MNIT, get in there, and then yes, the life would be perfect, it would be good. That is certainly true, but that certainly does not negate the fact that you have to continue working hard. You have to continue working. If you see the trajectories of most people, any of the, what do you say, the people whom you consider as role models, whether in academia, in industry, in startup, in entrepreneurship, you see there, you'll find these people, many of the people who are at the top, they not necessarily had their bachelor's in the best schools, right? Means obviously there are a good chunk of people who have done their bachelor's from the best schools, a big percentage, but not all are from the best schools. So it means that it's not just you get in one place and that defines you're getting, right? So master's admissions, you can very clearly distinctly see that you'll find people from, you'll find PhD students at top schools, both from IITs as well as NITs, as well as maybe some school you may not have been so great, but it depends on what you did in your bachelor's. That is based on that the person gets, you get what I'm trying to say, right? And they get into the master school, say in the United States or anything. So it also depends on what you continue working on, continue persevering. And after passing out from your bachelor's also, it keeps on continuing. So so essence is, if you want to keep going, you have to be steady. And personally, in my life, I see steadiness has essentially come by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And because of, I have been associating with people who are spiritually minded. And I think personally, I can strongly vouch for that, that if you're spiritually minded, it is more easier to be stable and steady in our, to be more balanced in our mind. Because you see, there will always be plenty of distractions. There'll be plenty of reasons to not persevere steadily. You'll get each and every day, you'll get reasons. And having high spiritual quotient and chanting the holy name, it essentially helps us. You see, now coming to the point of focused. One more thing which I generally see, and which especially I've been trying to practice over the last few years, is about how to be, how do I measure my work on a day-to-day basis? You see, every day, if you see in our own life, there'll be tens and hundreds of works, small tasks which we'll be doing daily. Some of them would be trivial, some of them need our brain, some of them need our focus, right? So one more thing which what I have started practicing personally is that when I measure my progress, I don't measure my progress based on the trivial tasks I did. I measure my progress based on how much, on the task wherein I use my brain, wherein I learned something new, wherein I was trying to solve some complex problem. You get it, right? There'll be some assignments, for example, in bachelor's, there'll be some assignments wherein you're just copying. Okay, so today I just completed my assignment. Is that a good progress to do? I mean, it's certainly a progress, but if I daily measure my progress on such tasks where I'm just copying out, where I'm not learning, then it's not so something great. You're getting, right? So I was speaking to recently, I was speaking to a PhD student at NEU. I generally speak to students at MIT and Northeastern University. And at Harvard, I generally interact more with postdocs. So the same thing, we were discussing about how, whether it's a PhD or in anything, it's more like a marathon. And in any marathon, if you see, so when I was talking about the point of steadiness, it means in general, if you want to keep moving ahead, it is like a marathon. You get this point? So in a marathon, one day sprint, like one day night out, is not going to help. It's a marathon, right? It's not a 100-meter race. It's a marathon means today I feel enthusiastic, then I work hard. Tomorrow I may not feel inspired, still I continue working hard. You get what I'm saying? Third day, I may not like say I didn't score well, but still I work hard. The fourth day, I think I got something very great. I mean, I got a research paper or something. I feel so happy that, but still I continue working hard. You're getting, right? That is what marathon means. So in marathon also, it means that you take enough care of your psyche, that is your mind. You take enough care of your intelligence. You take enough care of your health. Because if I see it as a marathon, I want to make sure that I'm healthy. I'm pretty healthy all throughout, both physically and mentally. So you need to take good diet, which is important. It cannot be that every day let me do just for in my body. Okay, you do it one day, you keep doing it again. How can your body be good? How can you be healthy? And if your body is not healthy, how can you be at a good position in your marathon? It's not possible, right? It's practically not possible. Now coming similar, if you talk about your mental health. So mental health is, again, it depends a lot about how you associate with, like association has a big impact on what kind of qualities and what kind of habits you develop. So I was fortunate that in my bachelor's days, I was associating with students and with friends, and who were more saintly oriented, means who had good character. I don't mean to say that others didn't have good character. What I'm trying to say is those who were more spiritually oriented, that is what I used to associate, and I still have friendship with them. They are one of my closest friends for last 15 years. The thing is, what I was trying to say is, When you have appropriate association, appropriate peer group, what happens is that actually has a big impact on how you continue in your marathon, right? Are all of you with me? What
Yes,
I'm
sir.
trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So it is important that in a marathon you take good care of your physical body, and you also take good care of your mental body, right? Mental health. For example, if a person is very smart, he has a stout body, but say for some reason his mental health is not good, then what happens? It naturally has an impact on his productivity. And we're not talking productivity of one day, it's a productivity of day after day after day after day. So actually living a balanced life, having very good mental health and spiritual health, by taking good association, by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Like personally, I have been chanting at least for more than 15 years. I have been chanting, and I can see it has chanting the holy name has big impact on my steadiness. Not just steadiness is one thing about steadiness. It also gives me a lot of happiness. I can go on to that topic, but let me not get deviated. So when you associate properly, when you make sure that your association is good, I'm not just talking for association of people. So if you associate with, for example, if you associate with people who are studious, it is very natural that with that peer pressure you will start studying better. Similarly, when you associate with people who are spiritually minded, you also become spiritually minded, and the natural obvious effect of that is you will be steady in your how you think of your, because naturally there are going to be ups and downs in your life. For example, if when I was a PhD student, when I worked very hard, it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. And after like 3 or 4 years, I came up with some good work. I submitted it, and guess what happened? The paper got rejected. Can you imagine how frustrated I was? It's my lord. I really don't want to go back to that time. That doesn't mean it may not happen again, but now it got rejected, and it was a big block, because until then I was always used to doing things very fast. I was always used to completing things before time. I didn't have much experience in like so badly getting international peer reviewed audience where they are reviewers. It got rejected, and it was a big setback to me. But what it means, if a paper gets rejected, what do? Do I leave my PhD? Do I brood about it? Or do I maintain stability to continue working and make sure that the work, the research work, I refine it and get it published? And that is what happened. So you see, similarly, the same things in one form or the other form are always bound to happen in everyone's life. No one can escape it. The key point is how you maintain mental steadiness, how you maintain your physical steadiness. You keep make sure your health is steady, and you keep going and you work in the same manner, and that has a big impact in your life. That's what I'm very much confident about that. Like chanting, you may have read that example, right? Like, okay, soul, okay, body is like a computer, like say the hardware of the computer. The software is like the software is like the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego. And the soul, the spirit soul, which is there in the body, it's like the user, right? There are a lot of tips on which, what we say, key productivity. Yeah, there are a lot of tips, like there are many self-help books which talk about how to improve your productivity, day-to-day productivity, how you can arrange your day, how you can be productive, like stand and work, and there are so many things given. But none of these self-help books talk about how you can give away the vices. It doesn't talk about how you can, like alcohol synonymous or drug synonymous or any of these synonymous. The way of how they try to overcome these bad habits is by prayer to the Lord. Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare. This is a period. You can really see that it helps us to overcome those bad tendencies, those tendencies which actually drag you down in all ways, with respect to doing something which you would regret later on. at the end, you please remember, please remember it's a marathon. Please don't see it as a one-day thing. If I just get this thing, it's done. No, it's never like that. Like maybe in your third year or fourth year, you might think, just let me get this job and it's done. It's never like that. When I joined my first job in bachelor's, I wanted a job, preferably like somewhere around a place where my parents stay and somewhere in Pune, and it's just paying well. So I joined ZS Associates, and I thought, okay, my father, he was a central government employee, so he was working there for 30-40 years. So I think if I join this and it's a place where my parents stay, and I think I'll be very happy and I won't have to leave the job. Guess what? I left the job in 11 months. You see, that is how it is. And the reason I left the job is because I was not happy in the job. I knew that I wanted a job which is more research oriented, which is because I always knew that I wanted to do a PhD for my 8th grade itself. I knew 8th standard itself that I want to do more research. So the way how we think, right? Like how we think, okay, let me just get this, then things are done. It doesn't work that way, because naturally as time progresses, your priorities will change. Your interest will be generally more or less the same, but your priorities will change. And then what only matters is that you continue persevering steadily. That is something which you always continue taking forward and what you have learned. So please, I urge you to please live a balanced life. Make sure where a balanced life in a marathon means where you're making sure your physical health is good, your mental health is good, your spiritual health is good, and at the end it helps you in don't measure your progress on trivial tasks. Please measure your progress on tasks wherein you were trying to solve a complex problem or where you were learning something. Don't measure your progress on completing trivial tasks, because if you keep measuring only that, it may look that you're pretty busy, you're working hard, but you may not be making progress. And again, the spiritual life actually helps you a lot in being focused, in not getting easily distracted. Because today it's a age of distraction, right? There are so many notifications in our mobile, so many messages from different forms, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. I don't know, I'm not so much into then there is Instagram and so many things. I don't have accounts in many, but I'm telling, it's a age of mass distraction. So it is very important that you plan your life properly, keep your life balanced, and have a marathon. And certainly in that marathon, personally in my life, I can clearly vouch that spiritual life and having association with spiritually minded friends, it had a huge impact, and I'm very happy about my past decisions. Yeah, I can speak for more time, but I think my time is up. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful sharing. And
you can even write the message. You can even write the question in your chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much
Someone speaking?
Sharing so wonderfully about the spirit of chanting and how it is not possible to remove the virus of bad habits without any other with any other alternative. So this chanting is the only means to remove this virus of bad habits and give spiritual.
I'm sorry. See, personally, if you ask me, chanting the holy name, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamanta, first of all is you can clearly, when you continue chanting, you can clearly find the connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So when you find the connection with God, you certainly find shelter in the holy name, and you find shelter in God. So when you find shelter in God, you gradually get confidence. You see, many a times, there'll be times when in your life, there'll be points wherein you may feel your journey is very lonely. Like, for example, say someone is trying to pursue a startup, and he's the founder of the startup. The difficulties that you endure in the startup is only unique to you. No one else can fully empathize with your with your journey. You get it, right? So similarly for me, in my journey in PhD, though there were colleagues besides me, my research is my research. It's a very unique journey, and it's a lonely journey. So in that, when I chant the holy name, when I was continuing chanting, I could clearly feel that loneliness of course reduced so much significantly, because I had confidence that okay, Krishna is taking care of me. So it's my important for me to continue persevering, and results will gradually come. And with respect to why I continue chanting, is it gives me happiness. It, and then we want, why do we do anything? Say people watch videos, people go to media, people want to watch sports or go through sports or whatever, practice whatever, so many things they try to do for happiness. So chanting helps me. Gradually when you chant more and more, it gives you a lot of happiness. It gives me like mental equilibrium. There were times when I may be very for example, if there are times when maybe I may be depressed with I may be depressed with certain things, and I may be frustrated because of certain things. By chanting the holy name, it immediately brings me mental equilibrium, it brings me back. So chanting for me, it gives me solace, it gives me happiness, it gives me focus, it gives me steadiness to go on, and it gives me shelter. And I don't know how much you all may be able to appreciate what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to share what I personally experience and why I continue chanting. As I mentioned, like even if you want, you can see my PhD thesis. The PhD thesis which I submitted to IIT Kanpur in 2016. So in my acknowledgements also I have clearly mentioned it. I clearly mentioned that yes, chanting has helped me. And yeah. Is there okay? There's one more question, Atul. At this time, we have so many things, and our mind wanted to do all things. Then how can we decide what to do and what not to do? That is a very good question. Yeah. So again, coming back to the marathon point. See, there are some things which are mandatory. For example, as a person, as I am, say I'm a married person. I'm married. I have a family. I have my wife and children. So some things are mandatory for me. For example, what are mandatory for me? Mandatory thing for me is certainly maintain some spiritual life, because for me it is very integral. Make sure I spend some time with my family, because because I'm responsible for my kids. Third thing is I want to make sure that I have a job where I'm earning something, where I'm earning some money, right? And then to do the fourth point, to do all the many things we want to do, that is where you actually become smart. You have to act smartly. That involves scheduling. It involves discipline, and it also involves prioritizing, because you see now, like Atul is saying that there were so many things to do. You know what? Guess what? Tomorrow, when you grow 10 years older, you'll have even more things to do simultaneously. So always it's like there's always some kind of priority. Like in those who study operating systems, they'll read there's some kind of priority scheduling. So you see, the way you have to prioritize, and you have to also weigh. You see that you may have. It is important for us to gradually weigh in, doing this helps me in what, and become smart in choosing what you want to do. But simultaneously, we should understand that there are some things which are like a hard chunk. We have to make sure time goes for them. For example, you cannot lose assignments. For example, say I want to do very well, say in cricket or say football or some club activity, I want to do very good. That's good, but I cannot leave aside my assignments, right? My assignment submissions, my exams, and like that. So similarly, uh, for each person, things are different, but you have to be very clear about making sure some things are done perfectly, wherein like your physical, mental, spiritual health is done perfectly. The reason why you're there, that is to study and do whatever the required thing is done properly, and then you go on to other things, and there you do priority scheduling. You do like you prioritize, and always while prioritize, you always see. I would suggest personally. Now, how one decides priority is unique to everyone. But what I suggest is, please always try to see the long-term picture than short-term picture, at least as much as possible. Everything cannot be long-term. I understand that, but try to think more from long-term perspective, and that will help you. Okay, then there one more question, Aman. Like India, sir, like India is a religious and spiritual country. How much spiritual are the people of USA? I can certainly tell that there are a good number of people who are very spiritually minded. What I personally found in the United States, see, this is a very personal experience, which I can actually, I'm not what do you say? I don't think so. I have the liberty to speak anything about how spiritually minded people in the United States are. I can only share my experience of last 2.5 years over here. I've been in Boston. So certainly you'll find some people who are very spiritually minded, and you'll certainly find some people who are not at all interested in spiritual life. So what I would say is, it is in USA. I think in India there was a lot of gray area where people were students and people were like bit spiritual, bit more materialistic. I think in United States it is more the distance between is little more. Things are a little more in the extreme ends. This is my personal experience. Please don't take this as a statement of what I'm saying. But certainly there are a good number of people who are spiritually minded. And you see everyone in the, the interesting point in scriptures, when you read scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Puran, and when you read scriptures, you'll find a word very commonly talked about. Scriptures always talk about deliberation. Scriptures don't talk about accepting things just out of blind faith and sentiment, because blind faith and sentiment, it helps you to some degree. It helps you to, by culture, it may help you. But if you want to practice something and make it an integral part of your life, it needs to be accepted very thoroughly in our hearts. So that is where deliberation comes. So it is very highly encouraged by Shastra that one deliberates. Okay, why spiritual life is important for me? You judge it on your own. See it, do experiments. And how do you trust? See the people who are practicing spiritual life. See the effect of practicing spiritual life in your own life, and deliberate upon it, and go ahead, because at the end this deliberation is going to help you to go ahead continuously. And it's always good to it's always good to associate with let me get that. I was just talking, scriptures encourage about deliberation. So whatever you're listening, whatever you're hearing, you consciously, you can just spend some time deliberating on that as to how much of this is right, how much of this is wrong. That way you get personal conviction, and then you move ahead. Okay. So yes, I think are there any other questions? Otherwise we can end.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Okay, yeah, this could be the last question.
My question is that, sir, matlab academics and some other activities is सर दोनों को सर साथ में सर लेके चलना चाहिए, या सर और भी चीजें होती हैं उनको भी इंक्लूड कर लेना चाहिए?
और चीजें मतलब
कि जैसे मतलब फैमिली वाला भी सारा चीज मतलब वो भी सारी चीजें करनी होनी चाहिए, और मतलब और भी
देखिए कुछ चीजें रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं जो हमें करनी चाहिए. लाइक पर्सनली मैं हर रोज अपने पेरेंट्स से बात करता हूँ पर्सनली. तो if not daily, then if alternate day, I make sure I talk with my parents. I spend time with my family. These are some things which are like mandatory. आपको अपने आप से डिसाइड करना कि क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, रिक्वायर्ड है, और क्या नॉट रिक्वायर्ड है. ये आपको खुद तय करना होगा. और आप देखिए, जैसे मैं कह रहा था, आप जैसे जैसे टाइम बढ़ता जाएगा, when you pass out of BTech or even in BTech, and like for example in 4th year you'll have more things to do. You also have job to think. Some who may want to do masters. So you see, जो चीजें करनी है वो सिर्फ बढ़ती जाएंगी. आपके पास जो ऑप्शंस होती है ना, अभी आप फर्स्ट ईयर में हैं, आपके पास रिलेटिवली कम ऑप्शंस है, बट ग्रेजुअली आज टाइम बढ़ता जाएगा, आपके पास ऑप्शन ज्यादा बढ़ते जाएंगे. तो आपको स्मार्टली डिसाइड करना होगा कि क्या करना है कि क्या नहीं करना है. आप समझ रहे ना, आपको खुद प्रायोरिटाइज करना होगा. पर्सनली जैसे आप कह रहे हैं फैमिली के साथ, फैमिली कुछ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं, सो दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड एज पार्ट ऑफ द फैमिली. यू शुड डू देम. एंड एकेडमिक्स आर नेचुरली इम्पोर्टेंट. तो आप देखिए, ये जो मैं बैलेंस कह रहा हूँ, आप भगवद गीता में भी कृष्ण कहते हैं युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्त चेष्टस्य कर्मस्य युक्त स्वप्नो बोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. यहाँ पे ये कहा जा रहा है कि अगर आपको खुश रहना है, आपको अपना आहार, निद्रा मतलब खाना, मीन्स ईटिंग, स्लीपिंग and recreation, you have to keep them balanced, because if you keep them balanced you'll be happy. If you don't keep them balanced you'll be unhappy. जो सबसे जो मुझे समझ में आता है, जो सबसे कठिन है, जहाँ पे generally people get lost is like if somebody sleeps too much. it means he is not going to living a balanced life. If someone is having overeating habit, and because of which he has digestion problems, he's not balanced. Media for hours and hours together. He just likes, he's into sports. He's at an academic institute for studying, but he's into sports and too much into sports. Then that is like, it depends on what you're doing the recreation for. If the recreation is for just recreation, then it has to be balanced. It cannot be. But if that so-called recreation is you're planning to become your full-time profession, then it's not recreation. Then it's like part of profession. Okay. Yeah, Panal. Yes, I did. Pana asked, did you get an experience where you felt that my spiritual practice saved me at problematic moment? Yes, I very much felt it. Like I was telling you, especially in my personal life, I had a lot of ups and downs during my PhD. So with that, I strongly attribute to my practice of spiritual life, which helped me to sail on. And Krishna's mercy, I came up pretty well. I came up well. It appeared like I'm very down, and at the end I came up with more papers than most of my peers. Yeah, and with the, how would God want us to respond to communal fights, aggression, and terrorism? See, I don't want to give any. I mean, what I can say is, I can say based on reading scriptures, because I personally daily and regularly go read scriptures and hear lectures. What I can say is, what based on Shastra, if you want to know what God wants, read Shastra, read Bhagavad Gita. And what Krishna wants us is to live, means certainly the purpose of religion is to love God. And if you are more mature in your self-realization, if you're more refined in your consciousness, try to serve the society. This is what Krishna wants us to do. In essence, you're getting right. So certainly God does not want us to be violent human beings. That is what I can say. Because for God, everyone is equal. All of us are children of God, including plants, animals, all human beings from all races, countries, and gender, like that. So what God wants us is to, if possible, become spiritually minded, come back to God, and certainly and if you can, be kind human beings. When you can try and do welfare, you can work towards welfare of others, and the many forms of welfare. Yeah, you'll hear. Yeah. Okay, I think let me end here. Yes, go, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for very wonderfully sharing your experience, your journey, and how this spiritual practice has helped you. This chanting has helped you to tackle problems, and most importantly, how it helps the general mass to overcome these viruses of bad habits, which, if otherwise cannot be overcome by any other methods. So thank you so much for throwing light upon that. And to tell you, sir, all these boys, they have been introduced to this chanting only in January. So it's just about a couple of months, and I can tell you very happily that all these participants they are chanting on a regular basis. So they do chant 1 to 2 rounds every day. So they are also inspired by, when we told that you were coming on a short notice, they were very much inspired to attend it. So they are really very enthusiastic about all these things. Thank you so much for giving your time on a very short notice to them. So thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Gaurav, for giving this opportunity. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think I missed one last point that Aditya had asked. Can we maintain steadiness? By chanting, we can maintain steadiness. So would you like to add something more to maintain steadiness? I would just say one word answer: personal discipline. There is a famous saying by a creative author, because generally whenever there's creativity, you need a flow of thoughts. So that person said, I write only when I'm in that zone. When I write when I'm in that zone, when the flow of thoughts of creativity are there. And I make sure I'm in that zone every day in the morning at 9 a.m. So you get it, right? It's some aspect of discipline is always there. Again, come back to make sure to be in that zone. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, God. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir. And now, everyone, just before ending this session, just I want to make a last announcement. So Aman, can we have the screen?
It is visible, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as I was communicating earlier at the beginning of the session that the extemper competition, we are providing this opportunity to each and every one of you. Just as I told, it lets you develop yourself. It lets you have a gentle outpour of ideas flowing in and out. So once you have this experience of extempore, you'll get to know how amazing it is, how amazing your work, how your brain works in these tense situations. So do participate in it and get the thrill, get the feeling, and evolve your personality. So as we are told, we have relaxed certain things. What we have done is the topics will not only be based on audio clips, but it will also be based on all the weekly sessions and other sessions that had been conducted previously. Also, we'll have around 10 topics for audio clips and 10 topics for all other sessions that were conducted, and you can decide on spot which you would want to speak. So you'll be given 1 minute for thinking about that topic and 2 minutes for speaking. And not to forget, we'll have special prizes for toppers also. Yeah, Aman, can we move on? Yeah, thank you so much, Aman. Yeah, as we had communicated earlier, the note making deadline has been extended to 27th February 8 p.m. So do make a note of it. Also, along with all the notes that you're making, we are very excited to read all your notes, all the key points that you could observe in the audio clips, and certainly the best notes will certainly win some special prizes.
Uh, excuse me, sir.
Just a minute. Yeah. So the third one, the spiritual article study competition. Every day we are sending you an article, as you would now have come to know. Obviously, it is now day 9. So it is the second last day. But still, we have kept all the forms open till tomorrow 8 p.m. So till the last day at 8 p.m., all the forms are still open. You all can go through all the articles if you haven't, and you can fill out the respective forms. And of course, for all the participants, especially for this article sending, we'll have a very special opportunity for all the participants, never less than a prize. That is really a very special opportunity. What it is, that will be revealed in the prize distribution ceremony. And yes, that would be a very exciting one. So to keep your chances alive, do fill out, and of course, you will love to see the prize or the opportunity that would be presented. So this is all from our side. Is it, Aman?
Yeah, it's also.
Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, is there anyone wanted to ask a question? Yes, Gyan has raised his hand. Yes, Gyan.
Sir, please can you extend the deadlines for some more days, because we have 4 quiz tomorrow, and after that we have to submit 2 big assignments on Sunday.
All right, I cannot guarantee at the moment, but we'll let you know if anything like that we do it. So we'll convey it further.
Yeah, sir. Why not, sir? If possible, sir, please do that, because we
Surely
have
we'll
many
see.
quizzes
We'll see what can
today.
be done. So ideally, we would like to have our prize distribution ceremony and the closing ceremony for the first semester on this Sunday, Gyan. So we'll try our best what can be done, and let's hope for the best.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, anyone else? All
Thank you,
right. Yeah, Pranal, you wanted to speak something?
no, sir. I was just thanking.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone
Sir,
for
I
your
wanted
wonderful
to ask,
participation.
hello,
Yes,
sir.
Ayush.
सर ये हम लोग के जो नोट्स मेकिंग आपने बोला कि हम लोग के पॉइंट के बेसिस पे जज करेंगे आप लोग, तो सर सर्टेनली राइटिंग और ये सब मैटर नहीं करेगी, इज इट राइट?
Of course, we'll see आपके नोट्स जो हैं वो कितने अच्छे पॉइंट्स, क्या जो जो भी ऑडियो क्लिप्स हमने भेजे हैं, क्या उसके जो एसेंस है, उसका जो जिस्ट है, क्या वो उसमें निखर के आ रहा है कि नहीं, क्या आपके नोट्स उसको बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन कर पा रहे हैं कि नहीं. That is what we are going to check. Of course, handwriting should be readable also. अगर नहीं पढ़ पाएंगे तो हम समझेंगे कैसे कि आपने क्या लिखा है. Okay, so we'll not judge you by handwriting, but of course handwriting should be a little readable also. Okay.
सर एक्सक्यूज मी सर, हाथ से लिखना है ये सब कुछ?
You can type it also.
नहीं नहीं सर, मुझे लगा टाइप कर रहा था. थैंक यू सर, आपने बता दिया. हाथ से तो ये मेरे लिए ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, जल्दी लिख पाऊंगा मैं हाथ
नहीं,
से.
that's all right. आप चाहे तो आप टाइप भी कर सकते हो. इनफैक्ट आई वुड सजेस्ट आप लोग टाइप करके लिखो, बिकॉज दैट वुड मेक थिंग्स वेरी क्लियर. तो टाइप करना ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. Okay, thank you so much everyone. It was a wonderful experience having all of you. Utkarsh is asking कितने lines में लिखना है conclusion को. So Utkarsh, हम lines में नहीं जज करने वाले हैं कि उन्होंने 5 लाइन लिखा है और आपने 6 लाइन लिखा है, तो फर्स्ट प्राइज इनको मिलेगा और सेकंड प्राइज उनको हो जाएगा. Of course handwriting जिसका बड़ा होगा उसके ज्यादा लाइन्स भी आ सकते हैं. That is also there. So don't think about all those things. आप points कितने अच्छे से convey कर सकते हो, that matters. Okay. So we'll see after going through all of your notes. And thank you so much for being there like a wonderful crowd. Sir also enjoyed a lot being with you. Thank you so much everyone. I also liked it. And until we meet tomorrow, do take very good care of yourselves and keep chanting, maintain your steadiness and keep studying. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.